There are players in the NBA who fade over time. And then there are players who just disappear almost overnight. No long goodbye, no clear explanation, just gone. And when you look back at their careers, it doesn't make sense. Because these weren't average players. These were stars. Jermaine O'Neal, Larry Sanders, players who had everything. And then suddenly, they were gone. So what actually happened? Let's start with Jermaine O'Neal. At his peak, he was one of the most dominant big men in the NBA. Multiple-time All-Star, a player who could give you 20 and 10 every night, control the game on both ends of the floor. He went from a young player trying to find his place to becoming the face of a franchise. But then, everything started to change. And it didn't happen all at once. It was slow. Injuries, the kind that don't just take you out of games, but slowly take pieces of your game away. Your mobility, your explosiveness, your consistency. And in the NBA, once that starts happening, everything changes. Because the league doesn't slow down. It keeps moving. And if your body can't keep up, you get left behind. For O'Neal, it wasn't one moment. It was a build-up. But to fans, it felt like he disappeared overnight. Now Larry Sanders is a completely different story. Because physically, he still had it. He was in his prime. Blocking shots, running the floor, anchoring a defense. The type of player every team wants. But what people didn't see was everything happening off the court. Because sometimes the biggest battles aren't physical, they're mental. Sanders later opened up about dealing with anxiety, depression, and the pressure of being in the NBA. The expectations, the spotlight, the constant noise, and eventually, he made a decision that shocked everyone. He walked away, not because he couldn't play, but because he needed to protect himself. And that's the part fans don't always understand, because from the outside, it looks like you're walking away from everything: money, fame, opportunity. But from the inside, it can feel completely different. It can feel like survival. And that's what makes stories like this so powerful. Because we're used to seeing the highlights, the stats, the wins, the success. But we don't always see what it takes to carry all of that. Day after day, season after season. And sometimes, players reach a point where they just can't do it anymore. Not physically, not mentally, or sometimes both. And when that happens, to us, it looks like they vanished. But in reality, it's been building for a long time. And that's what makes this so real, because it reminds you, these players aren't just athletes, they're human, dealing with pressure most people will never understand. So, when you look back at players like Jermaine O'Neal and Larry Sanders, it's easy to ask, what happened? But maybe the better question is, what were they dealing with that we never saw? Because not every ending is failure. Sometimes, it's about what it takes just to walk away. And if you want more NBA stories like this, subscribe to NBA After Dark.